Good day, everyone! I'd like to introduce myself. I am Heidi T. Mirano from BPED 2, your teachers for today's discussion. Now, before we start our discussion, let's have a brief discussion about who is Jose Rizal. Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Realonda, also known as the National Hero of the Philippines, was born on June 19, 1861 in Calamba, Laguna. He became a national hero with important contributions to the country's struggle for independence from Spanish colonial rule. Our topic for today is all about Rizal exile, trial, and death in Dapitan started when Rizal decided to go back to the Philippines after his trip in Europe. Ang huling discussion natin ay nag-aaral si Rizal sa ibang bansa, sa Universidad Central de Madrid. Nakapag-travel siya, nasulat niya at natapos niya ang Noli Me Tangere sa tulong ni Maximo Viola. And then Rizal decided it's about time for him to go back in the Philippines, and that's the start of our discussion today. When Rizal arrived in Manila ay talaga namang umaning na napakaraming ingay dahil sa kanyang kasikatan. Napaka-sensational daw ng kanyang pagdating kasi he is popular not only to the Filipinos but also to the Spaniards. Bakit siya naging popular? Kasi isa siyang Pilipino na nakapag-aral sa ibang bansa, matalinong sumali ng iba't ibang organization at nakapagsulat ng isang nobela na ang nilalaman ay nakaabot na yung ingay sa Pilipinas, lalo na sa mga Kastila at Fraile. Kumbaga, budget na si Rizal sa mga Kastila, ay ngayon bumalik siya ng Pilipinas at talaga namang gumawa siya ng ingay. Now, when Rizal arrived here in the Philippines, siya ay binabantayan na ng mga Kastila. They were looking for something na maibubuta sa kanya. Hindi naman kasi pwede siya ay hulihin or kasuhan about his novel, Noli Me Tangere. Kasi the way he wrote, it's very indirect, napaka-metaphoric, kumbaga ay nagsisimbol lamang siya ng mga kalupitan and whatsoever. That is why they were really waiting for a perfect time para mahuli si Rizal. Yes, ang Noli Me Tangere ay nakalusot at nakapasok dito sa Pilipinas dahil sa tulong ng isang taga-Hong Kong na ang apelyido ay Basa. Nasabi ng mga istorya na ito raw si Basa ay tumulong para mas magal para maipasok dito sa Philippines nang hindi nalalaman ng mga Kastila, ang librong Noli Me Tangere. Ngayon, nung dumating si Rizal sa Pilipinas, it was June 26, 1892, and on July 3, 1892, gaya ng plano ni Rizal ay in-establish niya ang La Liga Filipina. The goal of the organization is for the promotion of reform para sa Pilipinas, pero hindi siya para sa revolusyon. Nung itinayo ni Rizal ang La Liga Filipina, ito ay nangyari sa bahay ni Doroteo Ong Junco sa Tondo, Manila. Nakaabot ang balita sa mga Kastila na itinayo ni Rizal ang isang organisasyon na ito at 4 na araw matapos niyang i-establish itong La Liga Filipina, hinuli na si Rizal ng mga Kastila. Sa 4 na kaso, una, nagsulat si Rizal ng mga libro at articles na anti-Catholic and anti-friar. Pangalawa, may kopya si Rizal ng pamphlet na ang title ay Pobres Frailes. Ang Pobres Frailes ay isang fictional story at tungkol sa mga Dominican friars na nagkukurap sa mga mahihirap at mga asawa ng mga balo ng mga Pilipino. Yung mga parang Dominicians daw ay in-encourage ng mga mahihirap, and yung mga asawa ng balo yung mga namatayan ng asawa na mag-invest sa bangko. Hanggang sa nag-lead na sa corruption number 3 because of the writings of Rizal, specifically the Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. Siyempre, nabasa na ng mga Kastilaan itong El Filibusterismo ay idinedicate ni Rizal sa Gombursa, knowing the fact ang Gombursa ay sikat na sikat noon sa mga Kastila. Dahil nga sila ay mga paring Pilipino na pinaghihinalaan na nag-traidor sa Spanish government, so nalaman ng mga Kastila na yung El Filibusterismo pala was inspired by Gombursa. Gombursa ang naging inspirasyon ni Rizal para isulat ang El Filibusterismo, at pang-4 na criticize daw ni Rizal ang religion at ang simbahang Katolika ay na according to Rizal ang gusto raw ng mga Espanyol na ilayo ng relihiyon ang kultura ng mga Pilipino sa mga Pilipino. So, ang goal daw nila ay tanggalin yung Filipino culture. These are the 4 reasons why Rizal was exiled in Dapitan. Ito yung 4 na kaso kung bakit siya pinatapon sa Dapitan, sa Zamboanga. Hindi pa ito yung mga kaso na ipinaratang kay Rizal bago siya patayin or bago siya ipapatay. Where is Dapitan? It is in Mindanao. It's Zamboanga del Norte. Si Rizal ay nagtulan na magstay for a certain number of years sa dapitan. Nakarating si Rizal sa dapitan ng bandang gabi at siya ay sinalubong raw ng mga Spanish guard sa kanyang pagdating. In fairness naman daw sa mga Spanish guards, naging mabuti naman ang treatment nila kay Rizal at hindi raw sila naging malupit sa kanya. Now, ang nagdala kay Rizal sa dapitan ay yung sasakyan na barko ng pangalan ay Cebu. May dalawang pari na nakilala si Rizal. It was Father Pablo Pastels and Father Antonio Obac. Now, it was July 17, 1892. When he arrived at Dapitan, nang ipinatapon si Rizal sa Dapitan, ang punishment sa kanya ay kailangan niyang magstay sa Dapitan for 4 years. Rizal is under the supervision of Captain Ricardo Carnicero. He is the political military commander of Dapitan. Now, nung dumating si Rizal, siya ay winelcome ni Kapitan Ricardo Carnicero at binigyan siya ng dalawang options. Ano yung dalawang option? First, he will stay at the convent with Father Antonio Obac, or second, will he stay at the house of Captain Carnicero. Sabi daw ni Captain Carnicero kay Rizal, Senyor Rizal, meron po kayong dalawang pagpipilian kung saan yung gusto nyong tumira. Una, kung gusto nyo po dito tumira sa akin, sa headquarters. Pangalawa, pwede din po kayong tumira sa kumbento at makasama nyo po doon si Padre Obac. Habang nag-uusap si Rizal at si Captain Carnicero, yung gabing iyon ay dumating si Father Obac. Sabi ni Father Obac, tatanggapin kita, patirihin sa may kumbento sa mga kondisyon na ito. Una, bawiin mo lahat ng masasamang nasabi mo sa No Limitang Here at El Filibusterismo at sa lahat ng pagtutol mo sa simbahang Katolika at sa pamahalaan ng Espanya. That was the first condition of Father Obac, and the second is he need to participate regularly in church rites, and third, conduct himself as a good Spanish subject and a man of religion. Sabi ni Padre Obac, bumalik ka sa pagiging Katoliko kasi kung tatandaan natin, tumalikod ka sa relihiyong Katoliko, si Rizal at sumala siya sa mga Mason. But it does not mean that si Rizal ay anti-Christ, kumbaga lumayo lang siya sa pamamalakad ng relihiyon, pero nandun pa din yung paniniwala niya sa Diyos. So ano ang naging response ni Rizal kay Father Obac? Father Obac, pasensya na po, dito po ako titira kay Ginoong Carnicero. It was his response, period. So, hindi tinanggap ni Rizal ang offer ni Father Obac. So, if you are going to describe Carnicero, according kay Rizal, napakabait daw ni Ginoong Carnicero. Hindi daw siya tinuring na bilanggo ng kapitan na ito. Si Rizal sa dapitan, although Captain Carnicero received Rizal as a prisoner, both of them enjoyed other companies and they became good friends. Sabi nga ni Carnicero kay Rizal, Ginoong Rizal, hindi po kayo isang bilanggo, kundi kayo po ay isang bumisita. Ngayon, si Carnicero ay isa ding kapitan at siya ang pinakamataas na Spanish official sa isla ng Dapitan. Dahil napakabait nga daw ni Carnicero, ay ginawan siya ni Rizal ng tulak as a gift. And during this time, kapag ginawan ka ng tulak, napakalaking privilege na yun ng gift. And as a return, Captain Carnicero allowed Rizal to have a freedom and go to anywhere as long as within the town of the Dapitan. So may laya si Rizal noon, pumunta kung saan as long at hindi siya lalabas sa bayan ng Dapitan. Ay may freedom siya, so ngayon naging okay naman si Rizal sa Dapitan, naging payapa, naging masaya, nakapagtayo siya ng maliit na clinics, kahit na ipinaktis niya ang kanyang profession na pagiging doktor, nakapaggamot siya ng mga may sakit. Of course, nung una nahirapan siya because he's not with his family. Hindi naman pinayagan yung family niya na bisitahin siya. Nabanggit sa history na si Rizal ay tumataya rin pala sa loto. Okay, Captain Carnicero and Rizal betted in lottery. May isang barko na ang pangalan ay Butuan. Yung barko na yon ang nagdala ng balita na si Rizal daw ay nanalo sa loto ng 20,000 pesos at ang ticket number ni Rizal ay 9736. At dahil doon nakabili si Rizal ng land nearby, then he built a house, a school, and even accepted students kahit wala itong pera or tuition. At isa lang ang kondisyon ni Rizal sa mga batang ito na walang tuition kundi ay gumawa na lang sa kanyang household chore and other part of his house for his eye clinic. Usually, his patients were from Luzon and Hong Kong. And another information, dito sa Dapitan mismo nagamot ni Rizal yung kanyang mother na si Doña Teodora. Lastly, he built also a house for the ladies in his family so they can visit him in Dapitan. Yes, I mentioned to you earlier na hindi inallow si Rizal na bisitahin ng kanyang family. But with the help of Don Carnicero or Captain Carnicero, he wrote a letter to Governor General requesting to allow his mother and sisters to join him in Dapitan. And it was granted naman kaya nakadalaw ang kanyang family ni Rizal sa Dapitan. May 4, 1893, napalitan si Captain Carnicero. He was replaced by Captain Juan Sitges. You know, Captain Juan Sitges did not want to be living with a deportee. Ngayon na may kasama siya, therefore he assigned Rizal to live in a house near the headquarters. He ordered Rizal to appear before him 3 times a week na 3 times a week lang magre-report si Rizal kay Sitges or nagpapakita kay Sitges. And pagdaan ng ilang linggo, nag-iba ang ihip ng hangin. Nag-iba ang attitude ni Juan Sitges. What he did is that he restored all the privileges that Rizal had enjoyed during Carnicero's term. Habang nasa Dapitan si Rizal, sa Catholic Church ay hindi tumigil na i-convince si Rizal na mag-retract and bawiin lahat ng sinabi niya against Spanish government and church. They sent to Dapitan his former professor from Ateneo, Father Francisco de Paula Sanchez, convinced Rizal to retract. However, Rizal stood track resolved to pass on his beliefs. Nanindigan pa rin si Rizal sa mga sinabi niya against the Spanish government. And Spanish friars, okay, so when he was Dapitan, he kept himself busy. After acquainting himself with the surroundings, he began to make improvements. He helped clean up the plaza of the Dapitan, and he even lit it up at night with the coconut oil lamp. Since nung panahon na ito, sa Dapitan wala silang access sa electricity. So, nung nasa Dapitan si Rizal, marami siyang contributions, marami siyang naiambag sa bayan ng Dapitan. With the help of Father Sanchez, he also built a relief pub of Mindanao near the Dapitan Church. Pero na-inlove si Rizal sa Dapitan Church old girl, Irish girl named Josephine Brackett. Josephine Brackett is the daughter of George Tafer. George Tafer, isa siya sa isang naging pasyente ni Rizal. However, hindi pabor si George Tafer kay Rizal para kay Josephine Brackett. Actually, nagbanta pa siya na magsusuicide daw siya kapag nagkatuluyan si Rizal at si Josephine. Later, Josephine sent him back to Manila and placed him under the care of an elderly woman. Bumalik sa Hong Kong si George Tafer kasi hindi na curable yung mga mata niya, and si Josephine ay naiwan sa Manila and eventually ay bumalik siya sa Dapitan. Now, gusto magpakasal ni Josephine at Rizal sa church, pero tumangki si Father Obac. And guess what? Bago niya basbasan sa kasal yung dalawa, nagbigay na naman si Father Obac ng kondisyon kay Rizal. He needs to retract his belief, but without the benefit of matrimony. The couple considered themselves married. Without the blessings of the church, Rizal and Josephine considered themselves married. And relatives and friends of Rizal at hindi pabor sa mga pang-relatives ni Rizal kay Josephine Brackett. Why? Pinaghihinalaan nila si Josephine Brackett because according to them, she might be a spy of the friars. Now, story time tayo. Bakit nila pinagsosuspetsahan si Josephine? Josephine Brackett and her stepfather George Tafer ay galing sa Hong Kong. And they heard the news that there's one person named called Jose Rizal na isang magaling na doctor from the Philippines. They visited the Dapitan and they approached Rizal to cure George Tafer eyes, and knowing that the fact that they are foreigners, they need a tour guide. And she was Manuela Orlac. Si Manuela Orlac ang dahilan kung bakit nagsususpetsa ang mga kapitig ni Rizal kay Josephine Brackett, because Manuela Orlac was very close to Spanish flyers. Kaya nag-conclude sila na baka spy sila ng Spaniards. In addition with this, dito natin makikita yung pagka-desperado ng mga Spanish kay Rizal. Rizal had many visitors in Dapitan, one of whom was a spy of the friars named Pablo Mercado, who posed as Rizal's relative. His real name is Florencio Namaan. Si Florencio Namaan naman ay nagpanggap na kamag-anak ni Rizal. Sabi niya kay Rizal ay, Senior Rizal, ako po ay inyong kamag-anak. Kung meron po kayong mga sulat na kailangang ipadala, ay pagkatiwala niyo po ito sa akin at ako na po ang bahala. According to some historians, he was sent by the Spaniards to kill Rizal. And yung iba naman ang sabi he was not there to kill Rizal, but to observe and to be a spy of Rizal. But you know what? Florencio naman managed to escape. Nakataka siya, then another visitor of Rizal was Fio Valenzuela. Sino naman si Fio Valenzuela? Fio Valenzuela, he was an emissary of Andres Bonifacio. Si Fio Valenzuela ay pinadala ni Andres Bonifacio sa Dapitan for a special mission, and during that time, si Andres Bonifacio na ang supreme or leader ng Katipunan. He went there to ask for advice to Rizal on how to launch their planned revolution against Spain. And another thing, they offered to assist Rizal, of course, with the help of Katipunan in escaping from Dapitan. Tutulungan daw nila si Rizal para makatakas sa Dapitan, but Rizal objected it to their plan. Citing the following reasons: they must have enough arms and weapons, kailangan nila ng sapat na armas to fight with the Spaniards and launch their revolution. Second, they must have the support of the rich and middle class nang maiambag as a supply ng armas and weapons. Three, the revolution must be led by educated people, yung mga taong nakapag-aral, sila yung mga tinatawag natin ilustrado. And lastly, he also advised to make Antonio Luna as their general and leader of the revolution. Si Antonio Luna kasi ay kilala bilang sa magaling na general. Okay, sabi ni Rizal kay Pio Valenzuela, itigil nyo na ang planong ito dahil maraming inosente ang maladangan at mamamatay. And another thing na tinanong ni Pio Valenzuela kay Rizal ay kung gusto niya nga bang tumakas sa Dapitan. But Rizal said he would like to honor his word with the Spaniards. Gusto niyang panindagan yung mga sinabi niya sa mga Espanyol before his exile in Dapitan. Ang dagdag pa ni Rizal, kung gusto kong tumakas, madali lang para sa akin ang tumakas at noon ko pa sana ito ginawa. Tinanong siya ni Valenzuela, what if the revolution are actually begun and Spaniards will naturally suspect you as the cause? At ito ang sagot ni Rizal. Alam ko kung paano ko pangangalagaan ang sarili ko. Yung mga revolutionaries and caputineros ang dapat mag-alala na pwedeng kahinatnan ng kanilang gagawin. By the way, nakalusot at nakapasok si Pio Valenzuela sa Dapitan dahil kay Raimundo Mata. Who is this Raimundo Mata? Isa rin siyang may sakit sa mata na isinama ni Pio Valenzuela para ipagumot kay Rizal at makalusot sa Dapitan, not knowing by the Spanish guards, aside from bringing him to Rizal and to treat his eyes. May hidden purpose rin pala siya sa pagpunta. Nung tumanggi si Rizal sa pag-uusap nila ni Pio Valenzuela, ay umalis na sila ni Raimundo Mata. Unfortunately, hindi rin nagamot si Raimundo Mata. Now, dito na papasok yung second trip ni Rizal. Yes, merong pangalawang trip si Rizal sa ibang bansa. Okay, fast forward tayo. Tumagal ng ilang araw na nabalitaan ni Rizal na may revolution and epidemic sa Cuba. So, he sent a letter to Governor General Ramon Blanco na kung saan gusto niya mag-volunteer na doktor sa Cuba. And during this time, tapos na yung 4 years punishment sa kanya na magstay sa Dapitan. Sa tagal na pagstay ni Rizal sa Dapitan, it turned out na napamahal na ng sobra ang mga taga-Dapitan kay Rizal. Kaya nalungkot din sila nung nalaman nila na aalis na si Rizal sa Dapitan. In fact, maraming contributions si Rizal sa Dapitan during his stay there. Ngayon, na-approve naman yung letter ni Rizal at pinayagan naman siya na maging volunteer doctor sa Cuba. At the midnight of that day, palis si Rizal, sakay na siya ng barkong Espanya. Okay, so ito na yung second trip ni Rizal. Papunta na siya ng ibang bansa abroad. It was just for vacation sana to continue his studies abroad. But the second trip abroad was very different. Hindi na ito memorable, hindi na naging meaningful unlike nung kanyang first trip nung pumunta siya sa ibang bansa. August 6, 1896, nakarating si Rizal sa Manila Bay. Unfortunately, hindi agad siya makakabiyahe papuntang Spain dahil naiwan siya ng barko na sasakyan niya, the Isla de Luzon steamer. Therefore, he was transferred to Spanish cruiser named Castilla, and he stayed there from August 6 to September 2. Ang nangyari dito, pinalipat muna pansamantala si Rizal sa Spanish cruiser, and itong barko na pinagsayan ni Rizal ay nakadaong lang. Hindi umaalis. Imagine, almost 1 month nakatampay si Rizal sa barko habang nag-aantay ng panibagong barko na sasakyan papuntang Spain. It was August 19, 1896, the Katipunan plot to overthrow the Spanish rule by means of revolution. It was discovered by Father Mariano Gil. After Teodoro Patinos, may isang miyembro ng Katipunan ang nagtraidor na may kwento niya ang Father Mariano Gil yung about sa Katipunan na they plan to overthrow the Spanish rule in the Philippines. By means of revolution or bloody war, and then nagsumbong na si Father Gil sa higher officials about the secret organization. Take note, Rizal was still in Manila, hindi pa nakakaalis si Rizal papuntang Spain, and may revolution na nangyari sa Pilipinas in August 26, 1896. Bonifacio and the Katipunan raised the cry of Pugad Lawin. It was the beginning of the Philippine Revolution against the Spanish. Okay, so dito na pinunit ng mga Kaputineros yung mga sedula nila. During afternoon of that day, the also Governor General Blanco proclaimed state of war in the first 8 provinces na naglunsad ng revolution. So what are those places? We have Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, Batangas, Laguna, Pampanga, Nueva Ecija, and Tarlac. Itong 8 probinsya na nabanggit ko sila yung mga 8 probinsya na kauna-unahang naglunsad ng revolution against the Spaniards. Against the Spaniards. If you will look to our Philippine flag, there are 8 rays of sun. Yung 8 rays of sun doon ay it represent the first 8 provinces in the Philippines na naglunsad ng revolution against the Spaniards. Meron siyang 3 rays, okay, so wala doon yun na yung 8 probinsya na naglunsad ng mga revolution sa Philippine flag din natin. Then we have 3 stars. What it represents? Okay, so this is a misconception among other Filipinos na when you ask them what does the 3 stars in the Philippine flag represents, they will say Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, where in fact the original and reference of the 3 stars are Luzon, Panay, and Mindanao. Hindi Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. It was not Visayas before. So, kaya lang, since siguro sinabing Visayas, it because the island of Panay can be found in Visayas. But originally speaking, yung 3 stars ay Luzon, Panay, and Mindanao. Moving on, Rizal receives from Governor General Blanco, which absolved him from all the blame for the raging revolution. So, nakakapagtaka na ito na nakatanggap si Rizal ng mga sulat kay Governor General Blanco. At nasabi na sulat na iyon na hindi si Rizal ang nagpasimula ng revolution na nangyari at wala siyang kinalaman dito. Hindi sinisi kay Rizal yung revolution. Now, dumating na yung barkong sasakyan ni Rizal. He transferred to Isla de Panay. Ito yung name ng barko na sinakyan which was sailing for Barcelona, Spain. Papunta ng Spain itong barko nito. Take note, hindi siya idinawit at sinisi sa revolution. So, continuous yung kanyang journey sa pagbiyahe doon. Si Pedro Rojas, isa siya sa nakasama ni Rizal sa barkong sinasakyan niya nung nakarating na sila sa Singapore. Advise Rizal to stay and take advantage of the protection of British law because during that time, ang Singapore ay colony ng British or England. Take note, doon sa first trip ni Rizal, ang first stopover niya ay Singapore. Nakaramdam na doon si Pedro na parang may kakaibang mangyayari. Parang it's a warning na for Rizal. September 30, the Isla de Panay had already sealed passport, set in Egypt, and was now sailing in the Mediterranean. Nakatanggap ng mensahe yung barkong sinasakyan ni Rizal ay nabanggit doon na arestuhin na siya na si Bernardino Nosaleda, the Archbishop of Manila, na nagsabi, arestuhin si Rizal dahil siya daw ang punot tulo ng revolution. Siya daw ang nagsimula. Take note, kanina hindi sinisi kay Rizal na siya daw ang nagpasimula ng revolution. But this time, na ongoing na yung kanyang biyahe, biglang may natanggap siyang na letter na siya daw yung dahilan kung bakit nagkaroon ng revolution. Ngayon ay inaresto na siya noong October 3. Yung Isla de Panay na barkong sinakyan ni Rizal ay nakarating na sa Barcelona, Spain, and agad na ipinadala si Rizal sa prison na Montjuic Castle. Pagkadating niya doon sa prison ay in-interview siya ni Despujol at sabi sa kanya ni Despujol ay ibabalik siya sa Manila. On the night on the same day after the interview, si Rizal ay sinakay sa barko ng pangalan ay Colon, which was loaded with Spanish troops sailed for Manila. Colon ang pangalan ng barko na sinakyan ni Rizal pauwi ng Pilipinas. Ang nakakapagtaka nagtataka dito bakit daw madaming armas sa Spanish na barkong sinasakyan ni Rizal na papunta sa Pilipinas, na para bang nagre-ready ang Spain sa revolusyon na inilunsad ng mga Filipinos. Rizal's friend Dr. Antonio Marigidor and Sixto Lopez, they exerted all their effort to find a lawyer in Singapore, bukod para matulungan ang kanilang kaibigan at mapawalang bisa ang pag-aresto sa kanya. At ang lawyer na napili nila ay si Attorney Hugh Fort. But unfortunately, Chief Justice Lionel, the judge in Singapore, denied the request. Despite of the attempts of Marigidor and Sixto Lopez to secure the writ of habeas corpus for Rizal in Singapore, Rizal remained a Spanish custody. What do we mean in writ habeas corpus? In English, it means you may have the body. Ito yung pagdala sa isang tao sa korte para alamin kung karapat-dapat ba siya makulong or ikulong. At kung pwede mong questionin kung bakit inaresto ang isang tao, bakit siya ikukulong. Unfortunately, this request was denied. Because according to Attorney Ford, hindi applicable ang writ of habeas corpus kasi ang barkong kolon na sinasakyan Rizal ay pag-aari ng Spain at hindi sakop ng batas ng Singapore. It was November 3, 1896, the colon arrived in Manila Bay. Nakarating na sa Pilipinas yung sinasakyan ni Rizal and Rizal was taken to Fort Santiago sa Maitramuros. November 20, 1896, Rizal was brought before a Spanish military tribunal headed by Colonel Francisco Olive. Oral testimonies were taken and were used to implicate Rizal in the Philippine Revolution. Yung mga naging testimonies ng mga taong na-involved kay Rizal ay ginamit para lalo siyang igiit na siya raw ang nagpasimula ng Philippine Revolution. Governor General appointed Captain Rafael Dumique to institute charges against Rizal. Gumawa si Captain Rafael Dumiquez ng report about sa charges na ikakaso kay Rizal. And it was sent to Governor General Blanco, and si Governor General Blanco ang magpo-forward ng papers to the judge for his opinion. The judge advocate general recommended that Rizal should be brought immediately to trial and that he must be kept in prison. He also recommended that all Rizal properties be attached in favor of the state, and lastly, he also recommended na si Rizal ay dedepensahan ng isang army officer. Okay, ang pinili ni Rizal maging officer was Lieutenant Luis Taviel de Andrade, the brother of his former bodyguard, Jose Taviel de Andrade. Ano ang charge of great crimes who have rebellion, sedition, information of illegal associations. Rizal, for his part, that challenged the jurisdiction of the court and he did not admit the declaration of the witnesses against him. Sabi niya, wala raw katotohanan lahat ng binilintang sa kanya. It was December 13 when the case of Rizal was forwarded. Ipinadala ng kay Governor General Camilo de Polavieja, his censor of Governor General Blanco. Habang nakakulong si Rizal, naglabas siya ng isang manifesto. It was December 13 when the case of Rizal was forwarded at ibinadala kay Governor General Camilo de Polavieja. Ligsa niya ang revolusyon na sinabi niya na wala siyang kinalaman, wala siyang alam sa katipunan. And the katipunan used his name without his permission. Andres Bonifacio, si Jose Rizal kaya kung papansin daw sa headquarters ng katipunan, may mga pictures si Rizal na nakasabit at associated yung apelyido na Rizal na Jose doon sa may triangle system or yung way ng pag-recruit ng mga katipunan. Kasi doon sa may katipunan, Kawal Bayani ang password doon. Sa Bayani ay Rizal daw talaga ang leader ng Philippine Revolution. Older Katipunan actual trial began on the December 26, 1896, and it was held at the Hall of Banners of the Cuartel de España in Fort Santiago. The military court accepted all the charges and evidences to Rizal, however, they ignored arguments in his favor. I mentioned to you earlier that 3 crimes na ipinato kay Rizal, which is the rebellion, sedition, and information of illegal associations in defending himself. Rizal presented 12 arguments despite sa mga arguments the President Rizal, the court judge Rizal, guilty for the charges and voted him for the death penalty. So parang nawalan din ng silbi yung kanyang argument. Fine, ni Rizal, hindi rin napakinggan on that day. Also yung naging desisyon ng court ay pinadala na kay Camilo de Polavieja. The Governor General ay pinadala na kay Camilo de Polavieja, the Governor General. December 28, 1896, pinirmahan na ni Governor Polavieja yung death warrant of Rizal. It was stated there that Rizal will be shot at 7 o'clock in the morning at Bagumbayan, and Rizal cited saying that he was innocent. Rizal have the last favor was to have his family with him for the last time after heard the punishment. Rizal went to the prison chapel. Nag-request din siya ng makasama niya yung mga former professors niya sa Ateneo. Among his visitors is Father Miguel D. Deramata, Director of Ateneo Municipal, and Father Luis Visa. Dala-dala ni Father Visa yung image of Sacred Heart of Jesus na gawa mismo ni Rizal nung siya ay nag-aaral pa sa Ateneo. Other visitors of Rizal was Father Antonio Rosel na nakasabay niyang mag-breakfast. Lieutenant Aviade Andrade also arrived and resolved thank you during his trial. Father Balaguer also visited and he remained with Rizal around noon. Noong si Rizal ay hindi binabantayan ng mga Spanish guard, na isulat niya ang kanyang ihulihang literary work, The Mi Ultimo Asos or May Last Farewell at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Father returned and tried to persuade Rizal to retract his Masonic belief, but Rizal remained firm. So ito na naman, bumabalik naman yung mga pari para i-convince si Rizal na mag-retract at bawiin lahat ng kanyang mga ginawa. Pagkaalis ni Father, dumating ang kanyang nanay, Teodora, at mga kapatid. Rizal began giving out souvenirs. Yung mga binigay niyang souvenir kay Trinidad ay isang alcohol stove, long. Kay Trinidad na ang sabi niya, there is something inside, and ano kaya yung laman ng stove? Ngayon, he also told Trinidad to look inside his shoes. After his execution na binigay niya kay Trinidad, it's a piece of paper that contains a poem or tula, which is known the Ultimo Arcis, na isinulat ni Rizal bago siya patayin. Actually, according to historians, wala naman daw title itong literary work ni Rizal. Saka lang daw ito binigyan ng title after nabasa ng mga tao, a family or close friend to convince Rizal to retract by 8 in the evening. Father returned with Father Visa, joined by Fiscal Gaspar Custanyo of the Royal Audiencia at around 10 o'clock. May Father Balaguer showed dumating na draft of retraction from Archbishop ng Saleda, but Rizal rejected it because it was too long, napakahaba raw ng nilalaman ng document. Father Balaguer showed another draft of retraction to Rizal, and this was made by Father P.U.P.
Nagustuhan naman daw ni Rizal yung gawa ni Father P.U.P. but he wanted some changes. At 11:30, Rizal signed his retraction for the Freemasonry and it was witnessed by Juan del Fresno. After signing, Rizal had confession with Father Villaclara and rested afterwards. But take note, let me emphasize this one, the retraction of Rizal is still unclear.
Even up to this time, walang makapagsabi kung totoo nga bang binawi ni Rizal lahat ng sinabi niya at ginawa niya against Spanish government. Spanish friar, so yung marriage ni Rizal with Josephine Bracken na nagsasabing kinasal daw ba sila sa simbahan, may basbas daw ba sila ng pare or wala, ay issue din until now dahil doon na rin papasok yung restriction of Rizal at binawi niya lahat ng ginawaan niya, lahat ng sulat niya, especially yung novel niya na Loli Mitangere at E. Filibusterismo. Ikasaya sila sa simbahan, pero kung hindi naman daw kinasal sa simbahan at walang basbas ng pare si Josephine at si Rizal, therefore hindi binawi ni Rizal ang kanyang mga ginawa na kanyang mga nasabi sa church. Okay, nagkaroon ng falsification daw, okay daw yung pirma ni Rizal doon sa document ng retraction. So until na wala pa rin specific, wala pa rin kasagutan kung talaga bang nag-retract si Rizal or hindi. Moving on, at si Rizal had his last breakfast. He autographed his remaining books, which became his last souvenirs ng kanyang asawang si Josephine Bracken kasama si Narcisa na kanyang kapatid. They requested the marriage with Josephine Bracken. It was Father Balaguer who performed the marriage rites of Rizal and Josephine. After their marriage, may niligaro si Rizal kay Josephine Bracken. Rizal gave a book to Josephine, Its Imitation de Cristo by Thomas Kempis, which he'd autographed, at yun nabanggit ko kanina regarding marriage ni Rizal at ni Josephine. Hindi rin clear kung nabasbasan ba sila ng pare or nabasbasan ba sila sa harap ng altar or hindi. Afterwards, he wrote 3 farewell letters, first for his parents, second for his best friend, Dr. Blumentritt, and last sa kanyang kuyang Pasiano. At around 6:30 in the morning, Rizal was taken from cell and the march to Bagong Bayan began. He was elegantly dressed in black and his arms were tied from elbow to elbow. He had a small black rosary in his right arm. Then he put on his black hat. After he marched the colonel to Rizal to the site of his execution, pinapaingay nila yung drums just in case Rizal would like to address the crowd. Drums na naka-ready in case na magsalita si Rizal. Rizal had requested the fighting squad to spare his head head, which was granted. He also requested to be shot at his friend, but it was denied. Gusto niya barilin siya na nakaharap sa mga tao, harap din sa mga babaril sa kanya. Kaya lang, hindi siya binibigyan ng chance. Rizal protested that he was not a traitor to Spain. After that moment, may isang priest na nag-bless kay Rizal, and a medical officer, Dr. Felipe Ruiz Castillo, took Rizal's pulse and found that it was normal. Gulat lang din yung doktor na hindi kinakabahan si Rizal na normal ang kanyang pulso. Ano yung huling salita na nabanggit ni Rizal bago siya barilin? It was consummatum est. In English, it means it is end. It is finished, natapos na. And ito yung huling nabanggit ni Jesus Christ bago siya namatay. The commanding officer ordered his men to aim by means of his saber, and there was a simultaneous crack gun fire, and Jose Rizal made one last effort to drop on his back with his face facing the sun. After napagkabaril kay Rizal, ay may medical officer na lumapit sa kanya, and na-feel niya pa rin na may pulse pa rin si Rizal at nabuhay pa nga si Rizal. And then may isang member ng firing squad na bumaril ulit kay Rizal, and after that, it was confirmed that Rizal is dead. Lahat ng Spanish nandoon ay nagsigawan, nagsaya, they shouted, "Viva España" or "Long live España." The military band played Marcha de Cádiz for the Spaniards. Rizal was the traitor to Spain, but Spain made Rizal as a martyr for the Filipinos. Just for the trivia, hindi po Spanish or Spaniards ang bumaril kay Rizal, kundi mga Pilipinong sundalo lang din. Kaya lang, anong nangyari kasi, ang setup ng time na ito ay sa likod ng mga Filipino army is meron ding nakatutok ng mga Spaniards or ng mga Spanish army. So kung hindi nila babarilin si Rizal, ay sila naman ang mamamatay. So, ganun yung naging setup after ng kanyang execution. Rizal's body was secretly buried at Paco Cemetery, where later it was traced by his sister, Narcisa. 2 araw naghanap si Narcisa para sa labi ng kanyang kapatid, kasi nga hindi nila mahanap yung huling bilin ni Rizal kay Trinidad na mayroon siyang nilagay na something sa kanyang sapatos. Ay bigla ring nawala ang the remainings of Rizal were cleaned in Ingenuous Mercado's house in Binondo and were given to Doña Teodora. Saan na ba natin makikita yung mga labi ni Rizal? His remains were laid to rest inside the Rizal Monument in Doneta, but hindi lahat ng parte ng katawan ni Rizal ay nandoon. So, may part doon na hindi sinama katulad ng kanyang vertebrae at ito ay nasa Rizal Shrine sa Calamba. So, dito na nagtatapos ang ating lesson. Thank you for listening. Mabuhay!